Hello, everyone. Here to record my daily section or my daily notes. Like I said, leaving record for the future of what it was like growing up in the 70s and mostly in the 80s. And it's light because I'm actually filming during the day. I'm going to try to do all of my filming during the day. So let's get to it. Keeping curiosity. When I was a child, I wanted to know everything, like almost every other child. Curiosity is wonderful when we want to know our alphabet or multiplication tables. When I became 8 or 9, I started asking important questions that no one wanted to answer. This is when adults started trying to kill my curiosity. Some adults were embarrassed by the questions. Some adults were afraid of the questions. Some adults were afraid for what would happen to me if I kept asking these questions. These adults were correct. I kept my curiosity and now I'm houseless, or just about, um, in a city full of empty apartments. A small number of people are in my corner, but most of our people are watching from a distance or disinterested in my life and their own. The first question that I asked my mother was, "Where is my father?" I was 9 years old and wanted to know, but did not want to make my mother feel shame. My mother was honest with me about her pregnancy and my birth. My father was married to another woman and had 3 other children. His name was Joe Evans, at least that is what is on my original birth certificate. Joe gave my mother some money to abort me, trying to end the mistake. My mother was still religious, so she was conflicted about whether to keep me. Her guilt versus my incredible uphill life. My mother chose to bring another black baby into the COINTELPRO drug war on black people's society. After that, my mother dumped me on my older sister so that she could raise white children for slave wages. Mistakes are compounded until they crush us. This is one reason why I never had children. The story of my father generated another question later on. Why didn't my mother get child support from my father so that we could have had less poverty? My poor sister was left with more responsibility than she should have had. Her life was robbed. My mother wasn't so honest about this question, but I figured it out at 19 years old. I learned enough about who I was and where I was to provide answers. My father would have taken me away from my family and raised me under his wife's roof, and I would have been less physically impoverished, but mentally and emotionally destroyed. My mother made a reasonable decision this time. Now let's go back to childhood. I began to ask, why are the white women that my mother worked for living better than the black women on Rogers Avenue in Brooklyn, New York? I also wanted to know why the white neighborhoods were nicer than the black ones. The fundamental question is, why are there white neighborhoods and black neighborhoods at all? It did not take long before I knew about this weird race concept that Europeans created to take resources from native peoples living in resource-rich places. The Europeans put guns to our heads and forced the whole world to embrace colorism. After a few generations, we carried the false concept on our own. The guns have been put away, but are still available when needed. Once I was in Kingsborough Community College, I had a lot of answers. I was trying to get an education so that I could beat back some of the mental attacks on me and the rest of Ocean Hill, Brownsville. Every college library has the knowledge that we need to be whatever we need to be. The college classroom opened some mental doors, or at least it still did in the 1990s. But the library gives us the freedom to travel psychological paths. I learned that I could conform to the insane paradigm of my society, become a radical to build new paradigms, or become cosmic. I chose to become radical while many others were choosing to live by the standards of cash rules everything around me. Cream. We were so divided that I drifted out in the cosmic space and became a conceptualist. I deal with the concepts beneath every action and situation. It was annoying to others until 2020 hit us and everyone saw what this society really was. Now we are in a great reset, and I will deal with that another time. So that's keeping my curiosity. I thank you for listening. If you want to support me, the links, direct donations, or become a sponsor. Until next time, try to stay cool if you're in a heat wave. Try to stay safe and take care of yourselves and each other.